Based on the number of dislikes and some less than stellar comments on some of my past videos, it has come to my attention that I may have a few unpopular opinions when it comes to Big Brother. So, what's the best way to counteract this? To capitalize on the occasion by making my own video dedicated to unpopular opinions. The word unpopular opinion is thrown off way more often than it should, to the point where many unpopular opinions just become commonplace over time. So I will try my very best to be somewhat unique, but there definitely will be a few on here that are just what I described above. Before we begin, feel free to comment on an unpopular opinion of your own in the comments and see if anyone else shares the same sentiment, or maybe it'll even be one that I go over in this video. Don't forget to subscribe, and with that being said, let's get started.
Like, what are you talking about?
I know, I'm...
For Big Brother 2, look, I love Dr. Will, and he's one of the greatest players of all time, no doubt. But I do think that Will's Big Brother 2 game is overall fairly middle of the road. It was impressive, yes, but not S tier or anything like that. Also, with the veto, I think it is very likely that Will goes home at some point during the season, as he was often target number 2 on any given week. Do I think that Will could have talked his way to safety? Surely, but I don't know if he could do that every time the veto didn't go his way. For Big Brother 3, I think Lisa still beats Danielle if there was a jury house. Lisa was just very good socially in that house. For Big Brother 4, I love that they didn't have an X for every house guest this season. And on top of that, I like how they had an odd number of house guests at 13. I feel that helps have less order, which in turn causes more chaos, flipping, and that sort of thing. When things are all nice and neat and ordered, it's easier to gravitate towards a nice, easy ride. But by having so many randoms thrown out there that don't make sense on paper, adds to the chaos and adds to the season for me.
Enough with the breadcrumbs. Can you put the cheese and macaroni in the damn oven? Oh God, I'm the biggest loser in the house! Ice cubes.
Scott, please go to the diary room.
You come in and get me. Come in and get me. Can't handle me. It take 3 of you.
In Big Brother 5, this season nailed the twist. Like, holy crap, you want to expect the unexpected? Here you go. Twin twist? Genius. Having a pair of siblings join the house without knowing of the other's existence? Incredible.
Oh, baby.
You know, I have 2 sisters and 3 brothers, but there is always room in our hearts for more.
Good Lord.
For Big Brother 6, don't get me wrong, I like James Ryan a lot, but James Ryan isn't the greatest comp beast for winning all of the vetoes that he did. One was just everyone else messing up, so he won the veto based off of their mistakes. One was just thrown to him by basically everybody. And one he won alongside Sarah. So overall, I say James has 2 solid vetoes to his names, but, you know, don't get me wrong. He's still very impressive. I'm not trying to dog him, because James's veto wins are one of the best parts of Big Brother 6.
Dumber mistakes than I do. I got a couple more weeks to stay here. A few more vetoes to win, hopefully.
For Big Brother 7, this one was tough, because this season is just so awesome. Maybe it's unpopular to say that Boogie isn't a great winner. Boogie only won because Erica outplayed Chilltown at the Final Four and got Janelle to evict Will. If Erica doesn't do that, Boogie and Will are at the Final 3 with Janelle, where Will is basically guaranteed a spot in the Final 2 and also guarantees the victory at that point, meaning Boogie is unable to win. I think Boogie played a very good game, but he wasn't playing for himself to win until the Final 3. Up until that point, he was playing for Chilltown to win. For Big Brother 8, I can't decide if I like the storyline better of Zach winning the season over Dick. We did get the fairy tale ending, of course, but the absolute shock that it would have been if Zach won would have been glorious. We'd have to forever talk about Zach in our winner rankings, and just thinking about people trying to go in depth about Mr. Dolphin Crash's game makes me laugh. For Big Brother 9, this season is a perfect example as to why you should go into a season without any outside biases affecting how you see the season. I went into Big Brother 9 hearing how everyone thought it was the worst season ever, and I let that affect my viewing experience as I was watching it through the lens of knowing it was a bad season. Also, Adam deserves more credit than he gets as a winner. For Big Brother 10, this is a tough one, but Big Brother 10 is a bad season of Big Brother. I'm just kidding. That's obviously a joke. My opinion is that I don't think Dan wins the season if America voted to evict Memphis over Jesse. Of course, Dan is the greatest player of all time in my opinion, and he very well could manage to win, but his path would certainly be much, much harder.
And with this next assignment, you and Dan could completely change the Big Brother game, America. Which of the 2 nominees do you want Dan to vote to evict?
Big Brother 11, I think the fights this season are some of the best ever, and I think this is a great season of Big Brother. Actually, hold on, great's a bit of a stretch. I think it's a good season of Big Brother.
Come over here and we'll see who is a bigger woman. Okay. Your waist is space.
Why are you slurring your words?
You, Russell, I'm not slurring my words.
For Big Brother 12, I really don't know why I like this season, because on paper, it's extremely boring. But I think this season really had the archetypes nailed. Every player stood out and was their own person. Nobody this season was able to fade into the background and be forgotten. And I think even with the boring gameplay, the house guests as personalities really made this season shine for me. Also, I think Reagan wins the season if he beats out Enzo in that last round of OTEV at the Final 5, but that's just my opinion. In Big Brother 13, Rachel likely wins without the Pandora's box twist at the Final 6, which is a positive towards her game. In Big Brother 14, I think the season ended as good as we could have hoped for. There was no way Dan was winning a jury vote against anyone, and if I had to pick, I would not pick any other house guest to win over Ian. So I'm very glad that's how it went. We got a winner who is extremely beloved by the community, and a legacy in Dan that will be forever one of the greatest in the history of the show.
Control them, and he'll never admit that, but Brittany might. She had Ian by the leash, literally and figuratively.
For Big Brother 15, I'm gonna say it, Andy Herron is a top 5 Big Brother player of all time. I hear people constantly dog Andy's game, and I truly do not know where this narrative comes from, because Andy played one hell of a game. It was nearly perfect. In Big Brother 16, I do think that Derek loses to Frankie. Also, as much as people dog Cody for his decision to bring Derek, as someone who hadn't watched the show very much prior, I understand how Cody could have thought that he had a shot against Derek. And I genuinely believe there is a chance that the jury would have voted for Victoria to win over Cody if Cody brought Victoria, as crazy as that sounds. It's likely that Cody still wins, but it's not nearly a guarantee. Also, it ended up paying off because instead of him taking Victoria and winning $500K and likely never being brought back, he was able to make a cool $50K first before taking the $500K in All-Stars 2. For Big Brother 17, if you run a simulation of Big Brother 17 100 times, I think Steve wins more often than Vanessa. If you want my full reasoning, check out my video on how Steve won Big Brother. I go very in-depth there.
Who will stay and sit next to you when the jury casts their votes for the winner of Big Brother? This could be a $500,000 decision.
Yes.
Are you ready?
No.
For Big Brother 18, I think this is a good season. All the way through, I enjoyed Big Brother 18. I think this was the most even final 2 in the history of the show, and by that I mean that I feel as though they were both equally deserving. For Big Brother 19, this is not the worst season. Watching it back and seeing the whole thing with the knowledge that Paul loses put the entire season in a different light. Still a bottom tier season for sure, but not the worst in my opinion. Also, I love Josh. That's definitely unpopular enough to be here.
Season 19 has the weakest dudes I have ever seen in my life.
For Big Brother 20, I think that this cast saved modern Big Brother. I don't know if that's a very unpopular opinion, but having players like Tyler, characters like Brett, Fessy, Swaggy C, even Bailey, Haley, and Scotty saved the show from a potential dark age. Also, JC is a top-tier player, and this is possibly the second strongest Final 3 we have ever seen.
So everyone got 2. Scotty got 3, but Scotty didn't win. That doesn't add up.
Of course it doesn't add up.
Yeah, someone's lying.
For Big Brother 21, starting from day 44, this season became super good. One of the better post-jury phases that I've ever seen, especially in recent memory. But that was the worst pre-jury phase in the entirety of the show.
Tommy and Sis can't be trusted, I can't be trusted, and we are splitting.
I've been saying, give enough time and these couples are gonna go after each other. And guess what? They're doing it! Hearing them arguing in the other room, it's like heavenly music.
For Big Brother 22, don't get me wrong, I very much hate the season. However, I will say that I think pre-gaming is not only totally expected, but totally okay. It would be bad gameplay to not actively try and pre-game. Also, if I dock Cody points for pre-gaming, I gotta dock Dr. Will for the same reasoning in All-Stars 1. And lastly, for Big Brother 23, I have no idea. I think if you asked every viewer to rank every season of Big Brother 1 to 10, Big Brother 23 would probably have the highest variance. Some people really love Big Brother 23, some people really hate it. Some find that the gameplay was entertaining, while others found it extremely boring and predictable. It's probably going to go down as one of the most loved or hated seasons of all time. With that being said though, I am totally mid on the season. Also, if you watched my video on how Xavier won Big Brother, you probably already know this, but I'm not all that high on Xavier as a winner. If you want the reasoning behind that, go check out the video.
2. Congratulations, Xavier. You are the winner of Big Brother.
And phew, there we go. I don't know how unpopular some of these opinions are, or if some of them are super unpopular, but I found this pretty amusing to go back to each season and come up with something that might not be the general consensus, but something that I can stand behind. If you disagree with some of my opinions, that's okay. They're unpopular opinions for a reason. And if you've got some of your own you wanted to share, please leave them in the comments. I would love to read them. With that being said, thank you so much for watching this video, and as always, here's a clip for you on your way out.
Congratulations, house guest! And then congratulations on you two finding the love of your lives. My question to Boogie is this: will you ask Erica's hand in marriage on the live show, just as you did with Krista on Big Brother #2?
I will not be proposing on the finale.
Yay!
I gotta keep my bromance with Will.
We know who he's really in love with.